given their life in the most worthy of all things, in the only way that can truly demand the life from you, and that is in service to the spirit of the West. About the heroes of Western time. Throughout all of our history,
but until recently I didn't know history class was jacked completely. Found my new family with the team going free. My old family doesn't understand me, cause I am so pro-white. No coke, no Sprite, I am rolling with the public, gonna be more white. I saw them twist history right before my very eyes. Insurrection Day, it's in the book and it's all lies. But now I am alive and well to tell it. But will generations down the line be able to sell it? I've always been a thinker on the search for both sides, but they label me an outcast and they cannot tell me why. Guess I'm just a black sheep, white boy who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white boy, and I wouldn't change a thing if I ever had the choice. Cause the red's the color I bleed. Yes, we all do bleed red. I have to protect my family. Why does affirmative action make them not hire me? Even in the countries where I'm the minority. Is my race just that awesome and no other could compete? Is that what the anti-whites are trying to tell me? Why am I always seen as such a threat? To the point they want to strip me down till there's nothing left. Well, friends from high school, man, I haven't kept one, but I got a new crew and it's where I belong. Cause if you ain't going free, you ain't rolling with me. And there are even anti-whites in my own family. But I am the one who's comfortable with myself, trying to save them from the hate so wildly raising hell. Cause I'm the black sheep, white boy who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white boy, and I wouldn't change a thing if I ever had the choice. Cause the red's the color I bleed. Yes, we all do bleed red. I have to protect my family. That Scotland is too white, is Nigeria too black? Don't get your panties in a bunch, cause I have the right to ask. See, I'm the black sheep, cause I call it hypocrisy. And the media will give you emotions, but they will not give you honesty. Yeah, you have your feelings, but I have the crime rate. And I'ma shoot to kill if there's a danger my way. So I do not blame the cops, just the ones who are cowards, who hesitate to pull the trigger unless it is one of ours. Cause he's a black sheep, white boy who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white boy, and I wouldn't change a thing if I ever had the choice. Cause the red's the color I bleed. Yes, we all do bleed red. I have to protect my family. So I put my people to death.
help our people go free. I guess I'm too blind to see. I'm just trying to help our people go free. I'm just blind to see. I'm too blind. I'm just trying to help our people go free. I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to help our people go free.
Good evening, America. I'm Jason, and you are watching Jason Goes Political. For the sake of continuity, all financial gifts $19 or less will be read toward the end of this show, $20 or more, and I will read them as soon as I see them. I want to begin very quickly and briefly by asking you to head on out to your circles of influence, share the URL as far and widely as you can, because we are the only people with the answer to the crisis facing Western kind and therefore Western civilization today. Another announcement I would like to make is a big, though belated, happy Canadian Thanksgiving to all of our wonderful brothers and sisters in our once great country of Canada. I also want to bring attention, a lot of attention, to Western Man. And I will mention him again, maybe in a roll-in over the course of the week, or certainly the next Going Free gathering on Sundays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 5 p.m. Western Man, we had an action item on that this past Sunday, that Going Free, and I was asking folks to head on over to the live chat of this rally that was taking place. Western Man had the ingenuity, the intelligence, and the fortitude to step up and do something a bit more in order to help recapture our destiny in service to white well-being. He ended up heading on over to I guess whatever that network was, and on YouTube, financially gifted $100 and telling folks that no white guilt on YouTube is the best kept secret to saving the West. A big salute to that champion, please. Everybody in the live chat, Western Man, raucous emojis, truly glorious to step up like that. Nobody had asked it. He did it of his own accord, and that's demonstrates what is truly great, one of the great aspects of Western civilization, and therefore those who created Western kind, the ingenuity and the desire to set out and make something happen where it is not happening. So God bless you, Western Man. We're going to begin today's gathering with an action item. We do have another action item toward the end of this show, so make sure you stick around to be a part of that action item. But the very first action item we're going to have here today is, in case you all didn't know, yesterday, Candace Owens was on Tucker, and she said that the most hated person today is the straight white man. I tweeted and at her. She only has a Twitter account. I tweeted at her, asked people to go over there and give that tweet a heart and give it a like, give it a repost, to try to drive it as best as we can at Candance. And this is what I said to her. On Tucker, you said the most hated person today is the straight white man. Why not speak with a straight white man who has been defeating anti-white hate with love for decades, physically attacked, censored, and center of a revolution of thought, NWG. Many of you answered that call. I put it across all of my social media, and you stepped up on Twitter. Many of you made accounts on Twitter last week, and I want to thank everybody for that. I tried to follow everybody who created a new account, a brand new account, because that was our action item last week, so that we could promulgate messages like this and use the number that we have here, albeit very small compared to political issues, political matters, giant content creators. And yet it is the small, the active, the brave that end up changing history. Many of you went over, and so a big salute to those who created Gab accounts and Twitter accounts. I am going to, in this very second, if you didn't do that yesterday, I ask you to do that as well. But this very second, I am going to post the exact same message as a reply on the Post Millennial, which was the Twitter handle that Candance retweeted and then may have pinned on her profile on Twitter. I'm going to put the same exact message up, and it is at the Post Millennial. You can head on over to Candace Owens on Twitter and give that comment a like. I'm going to do that right this very moment. All right, that comment is up. That is our first action item of the day. You can while we are here today, because I'm going to be getting fired up. So I'm going to be giving you lots of energy. Trust in that. I'm going to be giving you lots of energy. I'm going to funnel it right here from the once great state of Virginia to wherever you are on planet Earth, because men of the West have the ability to do that in leadership roles. We're going to have you head on over there and the Post Millennial over on Candace Owens. And you can obviously also find it on my Twitter as one of my comments, and give it a heart. Let's try to drive that to her attention as best we possibly can. It was just yesterday. And now we're going to get into the items we have up today, beginning with Tulsi Gabbard leaves Democrat Party, denounces it as elitist cabal. Now, just like Georgia Meloni, we have a scenario here where there are good things happening. Why? Because Tulsi is saying some things that are true about anti-whites in the Democrat Party. We are going to be talking about where might she be going now. Is she going to go over to the Republican Party? And what exactly are they? Who is going to embrace Tulsi Gabbard? And what will it mean for white people? But first, I want to briefly say, if you are one of these truckling coward bitches that follow around female congresspeople, female senators, female leaders, female content creators as your great leaders, and you just want to talk, you can't talk endlessly enough. You have just told the world, especially in the white sympathetic sphere, if you are one of these people, I mean, it's different if you're anti-white. It's different if you're anti-white and you want to hang out in their circles to laud some female to the heavens and become some truckling at her feet. Some obeisant truckling at her feet. If that's what you want to do over there, then more power to you. But this is supposed to be the white sympathetic sphere, where we are supposed to be gathered here to recapture our destiny from blood-soaked villains who are in the midst of surgically and chemically destroying children on planet Earth. We have to contend with them. And you want a mommy figure in the white sympathetic sphere? I never thought I would see the day. So many in the white sympathetic, and they never get it right, by the way, in the white sympathetic sphere, except right here. This is the only place it's gotten right, because they do one of two things in the white sympathetic sphere. They either hate women, and you can think of plenty of content creators, whether it's implicit or explicitly white sympathetic. They either hate women, they don't want women around, they think women to various degrees, they should be either covered up in some sort of balaclava, or they should just be in the kitchen and doing nothing else, or they shouldn't ever be seen or ever heard of, or whatever it is. And for those guys, I think you know the kind of guys I'm talking about, that are the ones that are like, no women here. Gee, I wonder what you're sexually attracted to, because it's not women. That you're making that clear. They're either that or they're children, and they will speak offensively about women ad infinitum over months and years of producing content. And then when a female comes along that this child or these children can kiss up to and try to get a little bit of attention from, maybe get their picture with them, maybe have them come to their conference, suddenly they have zero integrity, zero character, and they kiss right up to these mommies, they call them. How pathetic. How can you call somebody like that a leader? How can you follow a content creator like that has no character, no dignity, no line in the sand, no spine, just jellyfish that'll badmouth women until one can barely help them, and then they will kiss up to try to curry favor. Please me, mommy. Please me. Let me be seen with you. Please appear at my conference. Please, we'll pay you under the table. Cowards. So you have these different groups with these different tropes, hating on women, being children without any integrity or dignity at all when it comes to women, slandering them in various ways, and then kissing up to them. And that's actually worse. A woman that wants, a guy who wants, and he's a boy, who wants to put a woman in a giant bag so that she can live her life that way is scum. But worse is the boy out there who will slander women and then curry favor, kiss up to them as much as possible when it can somehow be of some selfish benefit. Those are even worse. But there's another type that gets it wrong too. And you're seeing it right now across the white sympathetic sphere. You have many, I don't know why, I don't know what it is about old women that really get the motor going of so many gelded, limp-dicked guys in the white sympathetic sphere. They just want this group here. They just want to have a woman tell them to put their gimp suit on so they can bend them over the bed. That's all that is. You know, when a guy stands up and says, I want this woman to do our fighting for us. I want to laud her as this great fighter for us, rather than just saying she said something that is accurate and something, by the way, that is really inaccurate. And I think later this week, I might be burning down a content creator in the white sympathetic sphere who has become more detrimental to young white men than I have ever seen, with the exception of those who play the villain. With that exception, this is as bad as it gets, and it's time that people start talking about it. So you've got these three flavors out there of error in the white sympathetic sphere, but here we get it right. Here we value women. We also see the difference between those who are women of the West and those who are just females out in the world participating in the anti-white narrative. But we value them, and we know that they can play many roles, but one role they can't play, and they must never play, is leader. They can never be in charge. They can never lead because they are not equipped to be leaders. Certainly in this day and time. And when I'm talking about leaders here, I'm talking about leaders contending with the anti-whites, leaders fighting to recapture our destiny. That's what I'm talking about. When you say, well, they could be a leader at an elementary school, or they could be a leader. I'm not talking about that. I don't care. Well, they could be a leader in the sense I've talked about before, an administrative sense. It could be an administrative role, leader. But the guys who want women to go out there and fight for them, especially in this day and age, for the recapture of our destiny, have no place having a voice in the white sympathetic sphere. These women in general, in my opinion, are not equipped to be leaders in a fight. And that's what politics is, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fight from start to finish. The other problem with it is that it engenders in the followers, in the trucklings out there in their thousands. They all just want to, they're trucklings because they want to suckle at the teat of the mommy leader. It engenders in them a desire to satisfy what they believe is the perfect mother's desires in her offspring. Maybe your mother was terrible, or maybe you had a great mother, or maybe she was middling somewhere. The bottom line is, you know what the optimal scenario for a mother is and what a mother would want from her followers, her children, her trucklings. And those behaviors are not going to be enough to recapture our destiny. You need men in charge. And when I say men, I don't mean that they just have a penis on them. I don't mean that they just have a couple of little organs underneath of them and a little sack. I mean men of the West, not children, not gamers, not volcels or incels or anything like that. Men. And if you got a problem with that, then you need to see your therapist, because you are the problem. Having said that, as my gambit, Tulsi Gabbard leaves Democratic Party, denounces it as elitist cabal. If you would like to make a comment over the course of this show, you can do so in any of these platforms. You disagree with me? You think I'm an ass? You think I'm right? Tag me as No White Guilt. Be respectful, or the troll slayers will throw you out on your head. This is my house, after all. This is our house in service to white well-being, after all. Be respectful if you want to disagree, and I'll speak to it. You can also financially gift over the course of this show. You can do so at Cash App. You can do so at Entropy. You can do so at Odyssey. I am surrounded by monitors right now. You can't see them all. You can see the three in the back, but you can't see all of the others. I'm surrounded by them. I will see your messages. I will see your financial gifts. You can find the URLs for those methods to financially gift a man in service to white well-being. You can do that at those locations, and you can find the URLs in the description below me on the screen on your phone, laptop, tablet, desktop, flat screen television that you're watching me on with the whole family sitting there and celebrating with your pennants and everything like this. You are celebrating finally that somebody's standing up. Tulsi Gabbard argues the Democrats have given into cowardly wokeness. Okay, asinine, totally asinine. And what would you expect from these functionally Mayberry morons, these functionally comatose imbeciles? What else would you expect than cowardly wokeness? Wokeness. If you use their terminology, you legitimize their ideology. That's one of the meme curatives we teach you in the Go Free method. It is the only way you are going to be able to go free of this. It is the only way that we are going to have America a Western country again. It is the only way that we are going to be at the head of this ship, sailing toward a much brighter Western sunrise than a potential nuclear conflict with Russia. And then it gets worse, because she says they've given in to cowardly wokeness and anti-white racism, making two enormous errors there. Number one, using a hyphen with anti-white. I've already demonstrated how the whole of world Jewry has finally come around to agree with yours truly that there should be no hyphen. Why is that? Because it is a single concept, not anti-concept. They can dismantle an anti-concept in conversation, and they will. Follow what we do here, what succeeds. If you're thinking about deviating, then ask me why a deviation doesn't make sense. Don't just go out and deviate and say, well, I'm just going to do it this way because I just feel like it. We didn't come to these conclusions because we pulled it out of our asses. Then she tacks on the anti-white concept as we approach the bottom of the hour. Going to be here for at least another hour. So make sure you share the URL. We get as many people in here as possible. God damn it. She then tacks on racism. This is an anti-white concept that you can never wield. It is an anti-white slur. You can never make it work for you. Stop looking to the rule books, the dictionaries, and this sort of thing. Where the definition matters is in the heads of our brothers and sisters and the hundreds of millions. You are not going to re-educate them. You are not going to walk around with a dictionary that will matter. And even if you were to get somebody in your midst to take up your definition of racism, They then know that all of the other hundreds of millions out there disagree with them, and that is as far as all of your efforts will go. We have to kill the concept racism. That is the concept. This is like the ring in Lord of the Rings, is the word racism, the concept racism. You cannot wield it. Stop being a fool. Everyone out there who keeps arguing that this could be wielded, and there are fewer and fewer, thank the good Lord for that. Thank the good Lord that there are fewer and fewer dingleberries out there that are trying to make the argument that you could wield this ring of Sauron. You cannot. It can only work to our undoing. It has the inertia of trillions and trillions of minds and feces and laws and codes and international treaty definitions and on, and made for TV movies and sitcoms and silver screen movies. It is everywhere. You cannot wield the ring of Sauron. It can only work to our undoing, and anybody using it should be viewed as either someone who needs to be rescued from their stupidity, their foolishness, or somebody who has malice aforethought. They want to keep that concept. They want to re-empower that ring. They want to get it back to the volcano where it was forged by the evil Lord Sauron, so that it can have power again and then be used once again and maybe finally to destroy Western kind. Now, having said that, well, let me say this in addition. The meme curative I'm going to share with you all. If you do, and you could share with all of your friends, family, and strangers, if you don't say anti-Semitic racism, you don't say anti-white racism. You got it? If you don't say anti-Semitic racism, you don't say anti-white racism. If you don't say, and you could tack on to that, semiteness, if you don't say semiteness, you don't say whiteness. Another concept given to white people by anti-whites to undermine us and people all over the white sympathetic sphere. Maybe the problem being that so many people in the white sympathetic sphere end up using garbage like this because they're not following a real man of the West, a real leader who deserves your fealty. Not all these girls out there, not the opinions of some doomed documenter, but a real man of the West who deserves your fealty. Come out of your cowardness. Former Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard. I know I've just insulted. I know I just upset a lot of folks, and especially with Tulsi, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard she's not even white, right? She's not even white. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard people in the white sympathetic sphere lovingly talking about her, even while she's a Democrat. And I'm talking about explicitly white sympathetic. Former Democrat presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard announced she left the Democrat Party on Tuesday, denouncing the organization as an elitist cabal. Gabbard, who retired from the House of Representatives in 2021, attacked the institution in a nearly 30-minute video posted on her YouTube account. Gabbard is not based. She's not with it. She's not cool. She's not awesome. She's not mommy Gabbard, mommy Tulsi. She's none of these things. She has said some things that you can take to your conversations and your service to white well-being with friends, family, and strangers. You can repeat those things for the purpose of delivering meme curatives, the key concepts in service to white well-being. She does not make you right. She does not make us right. She does not legitimize our defense against those anti-whites who desire nothing more than to victimize us, in particular, our weakest members of our community. None of that is true. When you hear content creators saying any of that, turn them off, unsubscribe, decide you're going to grow up. And I don't care how old you are. If you're 15, if you're 55, decide you're finally going to grow up. You're going to endeavor to become a man or woman of the West instead of this child in this contemporary age that we live in now, where it's just this endless pursuit of how you satisfy animalistic urges. Decide you're going to endeavor to become something better and then take on as leader someone better. She did not announce plans to join the Republican Party or adopt any other political affiliation, however. But the mouths are talking. People are saying, is it going to be the Republican Party? What kind of Republican Party will receive her? People in the white sympathetic sphere are saying maybe she's going to come out as MAGA Republican, one of the rebel Republicans against all of these placeholder Republicans, the establishment Republicans. Well, just sit tight, because we're going to be talking about what exactly is MAGA Republican? What exactly is rebel Republican? We saw with Jeff Deal, didn't we? We saw with Caroline Levitt. We saw with her when confronted by the great, the one and only, the Herculean Clips. We saw what they were like. She, Caroline, was little girl, 25, was endorsed. Of course, worked in the White House. Why wouldn't she? I paid dues upon dues upon dues. Grade point averages that make your nose bleed. And there was no chance in hell this real white man of the West was going to get into any six-figure position in the White House. And you're going to say, oh, he's just not unhappy that he didn't get a position in the White House. Yes, I am, because white men are supposed to be vying with those who victimize us for our well-being. White men who pay their dues and who have the IQ, far right side of the bell curve, who are also capable of physical self-defense and therefore have the mentality to fight in the trenches for our people. Those are supposed to be on the front line. Not the little girls, 25, who are supposed to be standing behind me getting protected. So for all of you out there, where is it? New Hampshire, who are so excited about this little girl. You got to check yourselves. The defense, politics, and the defense of our people, Western kind of Western civilization, is not a conversation with your granddaughter. Is not a recital of your granddaughter that you're heading to. So what are these people like? We're going to get into it because we're going to talk about Kari Lake, supported by Donald Trump, rebel Republican faction. And you have all of these America First gets, I'm telling you what. And they just endorse anything that they're doing over there. To me, that sounds a lot like what's gone every single time before. I'm not going to have it. I am not going to put up with this. I will get plane tickets. I will do whatever has to be done. I will confront people face to face. Whatever has to be done. I am not going to stand here in my prime and watch our race one final flush so that pompous, self-promoting, self-aggrandizing, treasonous pricks can lead our people down another dead-end alley. I can no longer remain in today's Democrat Party that is now under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers driven by cowardly wokeness who divide us, just use their verbiage, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoke anti-white racism. So you tell your friends and family, she said anti-whiteism is rife, that the whole Democrat Party is rife with anti-whiteism. Mom, dad, co-worker, niece, nephew, whatever it might be. She said, Tulsi Gabbard said anti-whiteism. She's been a Democrat. She's given up the party. She says it's absolutely rife with anti-whiteism. They hate white people. This is all about hating on white people. Don't allow your Republican friends, white sympathetic people, specifically who are implicit, don't allow them to say, well, no, it's about just racializing everything. Like she started to say there. You notice where she says here, stoke anti-white race. That's the afterthought on racializing everything, which is the Republican line. They never want you to talk about the fact that it's anti-white. They just want to say, oh, it's identity politics. Oh, it's just racial politics. And then we need to be above that. Yeah, we've been above that. My life, your life, grandparents' lives, their grandparents' lives. Where are we today as a consequence? Being above it. Where are we today? Being above it. being racial. Where are we today? She went on to call other moderate Democrats to follow in her footsteps. I believe in a government that is of the people, by the people. This is so trite and just how absolutely vapid. By the people, of the people, for the people. Shut up. Unfortunately, today's all of these founding documents, when these words of white men who created a country, and you could look at the very first Congress of those white men. Who were they giving citizenship to? White men of good character. Go look it up for yourself. When these people use their words, when they repeat their words, I feel a little bit of throw up come up in the back of my mouth. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. No. It's for everything that victimizes Western kind. You're not going to see the Democrat Party helping white people up to become millionaires and billionaires who are not anti-white enough. Absolutely. They're not going to help white people at all. I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democrat Party. Gabbard's announcement served as the inaugural episode of the Tulsi Gabbard Show, a podcast. I didn't even know that's the case. So, self-serving. She's practically, people have wondered when she's not, by the way, she's under like the proper lighting here, and she's got a lot of makeup on, and but go ahead and see her in an environment where it's not like that. But she's starting her new show, and people have been wondering. In fact, Democrats were joking, saying, was she in our party? So people have been wondering already about her. And now she's starting a show, and she says, oh, first episode, I'm leaving the Democrat Party. How much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet that midget-sticked content creators and content consumers in the white sympathetic sphere are all over there immediately subbing, and they're going to be watching everything she says and then saying endlessly good things about her? This is so sickening. It is so sickening that we are in a world where the swine, the lowest IQ'd, the worst moral, the least capable of leadership or giving advice are the most numerous, and therefore getting to decide who's in charge, getting to decide who gets to be talked about, getting to decide whose message is spread. Absolutely disgusting. Inaugural episode of the Tulsi Gabbard Show, a podcast she's now running, where I'm sure she's going to walk back that it's anti-white, that she said it was anti-white. Gabbard has grown increasingly estranged from the Democrat establishment since her failed candidacy in 2020 presidential primary. She has also become a vocal critic of President Biden, denouncing him for pouring fuel on the flames of division in the country. It's not about division in the country. This is always a misnomer. This is always a misdirection. It's like when you're in a fight with somebody, right? And they go like, they're in the fight. They want you to block the jab. So they do the jab, and then they right cross and knock all your teeth all over the ground. That's what this is. It's not about division. It's about hating the white race. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich praised Tulsi. Well, if that's all you need to know, then he was the big rebel of his era for the Republican Party, and he led everybody right back into the Republican Party, just like all these MAGA folks are doing. Not the rank and file, good folks, everybody else. Just like all these MAGA folks. Let's share the URL. If you haven't shared it yet, share the URL with your circles of influence. If there are live streams going on right now in the white sympathetic sphere, implicit or explicit, go over there. If you can't share the URL, share the name of the channel and that it's on YouTube. Tell people this is where they can come to find the real answers to what ails them. Gabbard or Gingrich praised Tulsi for ditching the Democrats. In a Tuesday statement on Fox News, he argued that she is one of the many Americans who traditionally have voted blue, but now find the Democrats unrecognizable. I am so disgusted. There's a little bit more that she said here that I would like to, let's see. We'll call them warmongers, the Democrats. These are things that you can take, actionable things that you can take. You can start conversations with this information about Tulsi Gabbard, what she said about the Democrat Party, what she said, therefore, keep this in mind, about Democrat voters. Because if it's the Democrat Party, if it's the Democrats that are getting elected, that means it's the Democrat voters. That means it's their mindset. It means that the Democrat voters want war. The Democrat voters want this endless globalistic warfare around the world for anti-whiteism. This is not a right-wing endeavor. Warfare is something that is carried out and has been carried out by anti-whites since long before we were born. So you start these conversations with friends and family. You're a Democrat, Bob? That must mean that if you're voting for Democrats, that means you're voting for anti-whiteism. That means you're voting for endless warfare. She says the party is now under complete control of elitist cabal of warmongers driven by cowardly wokeness. And then, of course, NBC, is that what this is? They cut off the part about it being also anti-white. What a surprise. She says, by racializing every issue, stroking the anti-white racism, actively working to undermine God-given freedoms enshrined in our Constitution, the Democrats, quote, the Democrats of today are hostile to people of faith and spirituality. No, they're not. They are hostile to white people practicing any religion. She continued, they demonize the police and protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans. No, they don't. They demonize police for the purpose of being permissive with those who execute crimes, who carry out crimes against Western civilization and Western kind. These are not just general things that we're going to talk about anymore. Above all else, she says, Democrats of today are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. All right, let's keep rolling. Jump on over. So where's Tulsi going to end up? Where's she going? Maybe she'll end up with the radical Republicans. Maybe she'll end up with the people like Lake. Politico. Kari Lake's Arizona campaign looks like nothing you've seen before. The Trump-aligned Republican non-traditional campaign represents a broader break from the old-line Republican Party. So this is supposed to be, there is your radical resistance. This is America First, Kari Lake. This is MAGA Kari Lake. This is departure from traditional Republican establishment, waging this rebellion against traditional Republican establishment, and everybody is falling for it again. Falling for it hard, I should say. Phoenix, Arizona, Republican Kari Lake is running for governor as a hard-charging outsider. That's why it came as a surprise when, ahead of the August primary, a supporter asked her about a rumor that she'd hired prominent GOP strategists closely aligned with the party establishment. I don't know who these people are, she said. Lake pushed back, adding that she didn't have, quote, big, high-priced DC consultants and that she preferred her team of true believers. That's who's helping her. Overwhelmingly white people are working out of charity for Kari Lake to try to make sure that she ends up, try to get her to win the governorship of Arizona. So what are these white people working toward? What is it that they're going to get? Are they going to get an actual resistance to the Republican establishment? Is Gabbard going to be arm in arm with Lake? She preferred her team of true believers, many of them pro-Donald Trump, 20-somethings who are new to politics. Why do you think they're going into politics today? Because if they're white, their lives are shit. They are hated. And they're expected to wage war on themselves. If they're non-white, they are watching everything that they care about in Western civilization being destroyed under the banner of anti-whiteism, being given excuses for that destruction that are anti-white. White people created it. White people touched it. White people used it. White people enjoy it. White people need it. White people got this rolling. That is the excuse in every case. To drive the point home, get this, Lake recalled she waved over one of her young lieutenants and asked him to show off his MAGA tattoo, a tattoo, which happened to be on the inside of his lower lip. People across this country of all immutable characteristics, but in particular, whites, young white people, young white men, the most discriminated against, the most persecuted. Candace Owens even saying so on Tucker last night. It is obvious for all to see. Want something new. They want something different. They want to make a change. And what's out there for them? MAGA, Donald Trump's MAGA movement, Kari Lake, somebody that he endorsed. All of these women, so many women out there he's endorsing to be in leadership roles. What else is out there? Well, you have this, you have the counter, I guess you would call it, you have the sort of the conservative central, neoconservative, Con Inc. central movement, which is this vestigial limb on the conservative movement, on the Republican Party. And you have these rebels to this Con Inc. And who are they? How are they serving these young white men? What are they telling them to do? Idolize black rappers? Worship women as your leaders? We'll step on over to the penultimate. And what is Cheney, establishment Republican, saying? Liz Cheney, representing the establishment Republican faction, warns Arizona voters that GOP nominees for governor and secretary of state are threats to democracy. We can't give power to people who have told us that they will not honor elections. The Wyoming Republican said of Kari Lake and Mark Fincham. Representative Liz Cheney urged voters to reject Arizona's Republican nominee for governor and secretary of state in next month's midterm election, casting them as existential threats to the U.S. democracy. So once again, we're back to democracy. It's always this thing about democracy, because essentially when they're saying democracy, they're telling everyone out there, you are as bright as everyone around you. Your opinion is just as relevant as everyone else around you. You're as the people who could actually be leading you. Your opinion is just as good as theirs. And then they militarize their sexual desires and they make that these folks' identity. Your options are here. If you are white, sympathetic, you're young, you want to participate, you want to do something different. You can be in the traditional, basic, superannuated, wizened Republican Party, along with Liz Cheney, as anti-white as all hell that party is. Or you could be the rebellion movement to that and be MAGA and then be like Kari Lake. And what has Kari Lake been up to? Well, just the other day, she told us, a group of followers of hers, and therefore everyone, that the Republican Party is the party of the Latino. And that she identifies as white, as a Caucasian. She's just and then she used the horrible anti-white slur, racial slur, Gringo, for the white race.
Party is the party of the Latino. It is the party of family. It is the party of faith. It is the party of the American dream. That's what Latinos are about. My husband is Latino. My children are Latino. I'm just a gringo, okay? But hi, look at that.
Nothing is funny about that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is up to us. If we are going to recapture our destiny, and as part of that endeavor, and therefore save America, if we are going to do that, the only people that we can attempt to persuade with pressure and against their will, obviously, are the MAGA rebel Republicans. You cannot agree with them. You cannot say that them winning or them running is a victory. You cannot blindly do that anymore. I can't stress it enough. You have to force them to say our name. If they won't say our name, if they won't say white race, Western kind, Westman, that they are going to oppose anti-whiteism, that they object to anti-whites, if they cannot say that, there isn't a dime's worth of difference between a Kari Lake and Liz Cheney. It is the exact same party. It is the exact same folks. And it will be unequivocally the exact same anti-white results. What follows here for another minute is a total stunt that the Lake campaign puts on with these little girls, wonderful, beautiful little girls, Hispanic girls, who say, well, I love you, Mrs. Lake, and I want to be just like, I want to grow up to be just like. It was a total stunt. You know, it's about as real as the heterosexuality of a self-professed incel who clearly is actually sexually attracted to black males. It's about as real as Putin bombing his own pipeline and his own bridge to resources. It's about as real as vaccines that aren't able to prevent you from getting diseases. It's about as real as Biden being attracted to adults. There's nothing real about the stunt that follows. What's important, and the reason why I'm going to play it, is because I want you to see what they don't do for you. She's never going to say the white race, that the Republican Party is the party of the white race. She's never going to say that. She's never going to pick up little white girls and stand in a room of white people and talk about how beautiful all the white children are and how she's doing this for them. But she will do that for Latinos, as she pronounces it. Her husband's Latino, her children are Latino, and she's just this awful white person and then uses this racial epithet for the entire white race. What is the difference between a Kari Lake and a Liz Cheney? Not a dime's worth of difference. Let's watch this totally real stunt that takes place. And I want you to see how she beams with love for the future of America. Is this the party? Voters who are in Arizona, white voters in Arizona, is this what you want? You're going to get this with a Democrat. In fact, the Democrat might not have to be as radically anti-white as Kari Lake will have to be to endlessly prove that she's anti-white enough to not be slandered in the media. She'll have to go further than a Democrat to demonstrate that she's anti-white enough so that some weird story doesn't percolate up from her past and ruin her. She'll have to prove that she is anti-white enough incessantly with words, with acts, so there aren't lawsuits, so Democrats don't mount massive campaigns against her. She will have to victimize more white people while in office than a Democrat will, because a Democrat will be left alone. They'll be expected to be anti-white as possible. So white voters in Arizona, is this what you want? She doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about your white little girls. She's never going to say the Republican Party is the party of the white race. She's never going to be in a room full of white little children and say that she's doing it all for them. Watch this disgusting stunt.
Sweet baby back there, she's waving.
I like it because you take care of babies.
I do take care of. Okay, she's gonna make me cry right now. Thank you. You know why? Because your life is so valuable. We can't wait to see what you do when you grow up.
I'm gonna be just like you.
What a stunt. You think she'll go somewhere where maybe it's a room full of white little boys, and she's going to say, I'm doing this for you. Your life as a white little boy is so valuable, is so precious, is so valuable. You think she's going to do that? Not a chance in hell. Because white voters in Arizona, she didn't give a shit about your white children, especially your white little boys, especially them.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, what a sweet, sweet baby. I do care about our families. Come here, honey. Come here. What's your name?
My name's Liana.
Your name's Liana?
Mm-hmm.
And how old are you?
6.
6. This is why, truly why I'm in this. My kids aren't little like this. Like if I tried to hold my daughter.
Truly why she's in this. She's going to pick up a little, beautiful little white little boy and say that in front of the cameras where the news will see it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. She picks up this beautiful little Hispanic girl and can do that. She'll serve their interests. She'll make sure this little Hispanic girl has a good life. But she's not going to do that for your white sons, Arizona. She's not going to do that for a single white son.
Right now, I'd probably fall to the ground. She's 19. My son is 18. And I had so many great opportunities here. I came to Arizona for an opportunity. And I just want to make sure that the little ones have opportunities. I'm nervous about where things are going. And I want to make sure that you have a great life, that you can do. You do have a great life. Okay. You got a mama? You got a nana? Awesome. All right. I'm going to let you go back to mama because my arms aren't this.
All right. So imagine her doing that with a white little boy. It's not going to happen. So we need to put these people on the spot. We need to make sure that if they are not going to serve our interests, if they're not going to put an end to our victimization, then we will convince enough of their voters, and it won't need to be many of the white ones, to not vote. And I'm telling Arizona right now, white Arizona, do not go vote for Kari Lake. She doesn't give a shit about you. She is going to go out of her way to victimize Western kind while she is your governor if she wins. Do not follow her. Do not celebrate any victories of hers in that campaign. Can you imagine? How despicable. So here's our action item. I'm going to take a look at, we'll see if there's any financial gifts. But here's our final action item of the day. And then we're going to be getting out of here soon. Over on Twitter and over on my Twitter and over on my Gab, I have a message for Kari Lake. I would like every single one of you, I'm about to do this, I would like every single one of you to retweet and regab. If you don't have one of those platforms, then get one. And this is what I'm writing. Kari Lake, you said the GOP is the party of the Latino. Why won't you say it's the party of the white race? Why did you use the anti-white racial slur Gringo for white people? Why should white voters in Arizona vote for you when you can't even say our name? Just posted it on Twitter. Same message I just posted on Gab. Let's get some retweets and some regabs and see if we can get some attention. We need to reach people. A big part of what we're doing in service to white well-being is trying to find those who are worthy to take up the practice of Go Free. We need those people to come to the practice of Go Free so that they can be agents of change. Beyond that, we're spreading the lexicon. We're spreading the dialectics to change the conversation so that in a room full of Latinos in the future, a Kari Lake at that time says, well, the Republican Party is the party of the Latino. And then one of those or more of those Latino people decides to say, wait a second, what about the white race? Anti-whiteism is the problem in this country. I'm paying more in taxes now because crime is going up, because an argument was made that white people had established an unfair criminal justice system, and therefore criminals are everywhere. I've got to pay more. The streets are less safe as a consequence. I have to travel with my children every single place they go, even though they're in their upper teens, because of how violent America has become. And the entire time the excuse has been, it's got to be this way because white people. And so, Kari Lake of the future, is this Republican Party also the party of the white race, not just the party of the Latino? We have wonderful non-white people in service to white well-being who would stand up in a room of their community like that and then say, what about white people? Clearly, no one is targeting Latinos. No one is targeting Hispanics. Whole institutions would be burnt to the ground. Lives would be ruined. If a white male was negatively targeting Hispanic people in some way, they would draw and quarter his ass. That's what happens in America. But Latinos, along with blacks and Arabs and Asians and Jews and anybody else out there in America, they're suffering a loss of liberties, a loss of freedom, a loss of safety, a loss of security, a loss of a future, a loss of an integrity of the family, the household, the educational system. We can go on and on. National self-defense, our ability to defend this country, and more going down the toilet because of anti-whiteism. Not because of some fictional animosity against Jewish people or Latino people or black people. Is just not happening. No one can, in any individual or concerted effort, wage any sort of conflict against these people to undermine them in the totality of the West. There is only one group you can attack. It is Western kind. And there is only one group whose name is used to justify the destruction of everything in the West. Let's see what you all are saying, financially gifting. God bless. And we have some financial gifts as well that came in at the end of Going Free on Sunday that we were unable to get to. So we will get to those first. We will mention those first. And please, when you see those people in the live chat, maybe in a future Going Free or Roland Going Free, please let them know that we did indeed honor our word and got to those live financial gifts, beginning with a 07s and raucous emojis for Sound Killer. Sound Killer over there on Entropy. At the end of the Going Free stream, didn't get an opportunity to say it, financially gifting 25. Let's put an end to anti-whiteism dollars. Bless you, good sir. $25. And he writes, going free is unstoppable. Going free is unstoppable. And God bless you for saying that. Testimonials like that will reach many ears. Thank you so much for the financial gift. And keep those 07s and raucous emojis and maybe some V's for victory out for Sound Killer, because he came back right after that with a second financial gift of $25 more, making a total of 50 US. Let's put an end to anti-white dollars. God bless you, good sir. Sound Killer 90, financially gifting $50 total. And here he writes, it's absolutely terrible how the anti-whites have been successful in using our people's altruistic nature against us. Don't let them use this gift as a weapon against you, Kip. Yes, sir, Kip indeed. Thank you so much for that. Altruism, folks. If you don't know what the word is, look it up. We are very concerned, and we've been taught to be to actually harm ourselves as symbolic, as the meaning, as the proof of the good we do for other races. Don't allow that altruism to be turned against us. Very wise words here from Sound Killer. God bless you, good sir, for those financial gifts. We have the great here. Tall Kevin also came in late on Going Free on Sunday with a $7 financial gift. $7 from the great champ. Thank you, good sir. He writes, off topic, but I want all here to avoid synthetic fabrics like polyester. Having synthetic fabric on your body can cause a variety of health issues, especially underwear. Next time you are at a store, try and find 100% cotton clothes. Not easy. Try thrift stores. Thank you, good sir. I appreciate that. And I've heard that myself, although I haven't looked into it before. Now, that was following up on the ones we missed. Please let those heroes know that we did get to their financial gifts. And here today, we have over on Entropy, God bless the great one and only Yiz the Unifier, financially gifting $5. She writes, I have to stream at 9 tonight, so I might have to leave early, but wanted to let you know, just a couple hours ago, academic agent named both me and you, Jason, when the Tulsi thing came up on his stream. So about 1,500 live viewers heard us named as white well-being leaders. That is so awesome. And that is all because of the work of Yiz the Unifier, ladies and gentlemen, getting out there in the world, taking the tools of the Go Free method, absolutely absorbing them, not just lip service, not just I bought the book, I read half, put it on the shelf. Absorbing the tools from the Go Free method, empowered, now able to go out into the world and be a wrecking ball against anti-whiteism, reaching intellectuals of academic agents caliber and getting through to him, which is something that, as you know, over the course of being a part of the white sympathetic sphere, you don't see happening on a normal basis when it comes to academics, especially when they are thoroughly decorated like peacocks. So God bless you, Yiz, and well done. That's magnificent. That's what we need, because the algorithms are going to shut us down. The haters, the me-nots that are out there are going to shut us down. They're going to be talking behind our backs. So we need to get out there with our energy, our verve, our effort, this absolute iridescent, scintillating moments of our oration and intelligence. Make this happen, because if you don't do it, it isn't going to happen. Western Man is a great example of making it happen just the other day. God bless that champ. Hallander is coming in with a financial gift. 07s, get them ready. 07s, V's for victory. Raucous emojis galore. 50, crush anti-whiteism dollars. 50, let's cure the rot in the body of Western kind, because we have a fetid, putrefying rot in the body of our people. And we see it everywhere we go. This sudden infatuation with Tulsi Gabbard is a great example of that rot. The sudden infatuation with Miloney is an example of that rot. The infatuation with Levitt up there in New Hampshire is an example of that rot. God bless you, Hallander. Light of the Twin Lamps, a non-white advocate for white well-being and warrior against anti-whiteism, financially gifting $30. Light of the Twin Lambs. God bless you. Thank you so much for that, dear champion. I really appreciate it. Everybody does. You know, you put to shame. You put to shame. No white person ever come to me who isn't active using the Go Free method. I'm just going to warn you right now, because I will slap what I'm about to say. I will slap the spit out of your mouth if you have something negative to say about the non-white champions who are battling anti-whiteism with us. Because if you're a white person and you're not out there advocating the Go Free method, curing yourself with the Go Free method, changing the world with these key concepts and all the concepts and dialectics we provide in the Go Free method, if you're not doing that, then you are half the man that Light of the Twin Lamps is. Half. Go ahead and cut that out. $30 financial gift from this champ writes here. What the GOP doesn't understand is their ideals are irrelevant to non-whites and white liberals. These are anti-whites from both groups. These two groups are unapologetic that non-whites have distinct material interests and that Democrats believe in equity, which of course is this anti-white concept, to victimize Western kind, and bringing both whites and non-whites down to the lowest common denominator. Everybody is harmed by anti-whiteism in the end. Exactly what I talk about constantly, that the Latino woman in that meeting with a Kari Lake of the future, wondering why she has to put up with these increased crime rates. And is that candidate going to say that the Republican Party is also the party of the white race? And never, by the way, never take from one of these stooges, these dingleberries, this, when it comes to saying white, Western kind, anti-whiteism, that it's for everybody, because that's exactly what Jeff Deal, that anti-white bitch, tried to do with our great clips. Got no problem talking about all of the non-white races individually, and I don't have any problem with him talking about the non-white races individually. You're going to talk about the white race individually too. When it comes to white people, you're not going to say, oh, everybody. I mean, everybody. That's not going to be good enough. And sooner rather than later, we are going to have the power to really harm these people running for office, because doing this, I will let you all in on a little bit of a possibility of a lead that people with more money than I certainly have are getting interested in seeing politicians, like MAGA type politicians. And these are white sympathetic people, explicit white sympathetic people, seeing them taken down if they're not going to stand up for Western kind. They suddenly like Jason's idea, the heroism of clips and those who will follow. So we'll see. Light of the Twin Lamps, $30. Thank you so much, good sir. Promethean Promulgation, another champ, $25 financial gift. 07s, $20 is the minimum that gets our 07s and raucous emojis. Please, ladies and gentlemen, we got to celebrate each other. Nobody will. Promethean Promulgation says, what is this? Shadiversity is about to start streaming. Stay until Jason is done, but he's on 8 on the pH scale, and maybe we can get him to 9 tonight. Well, there you have it. Something else you can do once we wrap up here. You can head on over there, drop key concepts, and hopefully bring this person the rest of the way and change the story that we are in here in the United States and elsewhere around Western world. The great Mestizo is with us in the question widget. The GOP's pandering to the Hispanic community will never erase the memory of Pete Wilson's Prop 187 or any other immigration policy. No, of course not. Of course not. And you look right now in a country like Mexico, and you've seen this across countries in Central South America, where other races of people start pouring in, their biospiritual projection starts changing their landscape, and naturally those people are like, screw this. We don't want any more of this. Having some of them here wasn't a problem, but a lot of them here is changing my country, is changing my neighborhoods. And that's what's been done to these United States. Thank you so much for that, Mestizo. Over here on Cash App, we have I shall call you Ace, dear lady. Financially gifting $20 $20 from Ace over here on Cash App. Thank you so much for those $20. 07s, raucous emojis, please. Thumbs up, smiling emoji, whatever you want. $20. She writes, thanks for all your hard work for Western kind, exclamation point. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's very meaningful when folks reach out, especially when it's so hard to reach folks, and so many people are so, in the white sympathetic sphere, are so diseased, they can't tolerate a man of the West. Preaching, passionate, masculinity scares them. I mean, we should, I need to do a video. I need to do a roll-in about how masculinity scares all these white boys of all ages. That's why they like other boys. That's why they go to those content creators, because masculinity scares them. They might look to like a Red Baron character and say that was really cool, but they have to have distance, like standing behind their mommy's skirts. Here's one who doesn't need to stand behind mommy's skirt. I really want some 07s, please, and raucous emojis, because Clips, the Herculean champion, has risen once again with an 07, saying just a salute with $100 in a financial gift. What a champion. God bless you, man. That is a true hero. No white guilt, Clips, making another $100. I tell you, folks, if you're not planting stickers, if you're not planting leaflets, if you're not leaving comments in live streams and on threads and retweeting and regabbing and taking all this guy's clips that he makes, if you're not taking all of that and promulgating it, you should feel total shame. And if you don't feel shame, it means you're defunct. You really should know that. You need a masculine man of the West to tell you that you're up and you need some therapy. You need to do some self-work. Get to journaling. Get help. If you can watch another man of the West work his ass off and not fall in immediately, something is wrong with you, because that's not how the white race works. I could see somebody working on something that I don't know anything about, and if they're working their ass off, I feel compelled to help. That is how the white race works. That's how we conquered all those things in history that sought to conquer us. You can watch this guy, and I'm going to tell you what, he's inspired me. So many of you inspire me to do more, to work harder, to accomplish more for our people. $100 financial gift. What a champion. And here's another champion. You can keep your 07s going and some raucous emojis for the great sloths. Coming in, resident philosopher, $20 financial gift. God bless you, dear brother. Everything NWG has said this stream is 100% correct, he writes. Everything NWG has said this stream is 100% correct, and he put a $20 bill on top of that statement to drive that point home. God bless you, sloths. Thank you all for coming in, showing up, being the activists you are. Every single one of you. Every single one of you. I really want you to know this. My love goes out to you. Wherever you are, we are surrounded. We are watching those of us who are actual champions, those of us who are actually doing something in the world. And you know who you are. We are watching the civilization, Western civilization, the civilization that virtually everybody on planet Earth points their feet toward, and very few point their feet away from, even with all the complaints, as you know why they complain. We're watching that burning down all around us. It's very clear to us that everything that our forefathers created has been destroyed. That we are no longer, that this is just an echo of what they made. This is a dying echo, like any echo that you could hear in a canyon. It is the equivalent of having a map about some mythical civilization, some nirvanic civilization. And you follow this map into this valley of the dead. And you can hear the echo of the genius. You can hear the echo of the industry. You can hear the echo of the hammers building society. You can hear the echo of the mothers nurturing their beautiful white babies. But no matter how hard we look, no matter how many corners we turn in this canyon, we only hear the echo. And every day, it's a little fainter. And every day, there are more pit vipers and scorpions, bats, wolves. Every day, it gets more dangerous. We spend so much of our lives trying to find this once glorious Western civilization. And you finally begin to realize that it is no more. And that it is your own two hands and your mind and your mouth that you have to make it happen again. To all of you who realize that, my heart goes out to you. I love every single one of you. This is a difficult place to be, especially when you come upon so many of our brothers and sisters out there and they're nothing but ash. Even when they clamor a bit, when you find them in one of these tributaries in this canyon of death, even when they clamor a bit, the wind blows and picks up that ash and takes it away. And thereafter, some video game, some character that is interesting to them because he reminds them of Harry Potter. You're surrounded by sickness. But we are moving the dial. We are making a difference in the world. We have to keep getting up in the morning and putting our feet on the floor and crusading for this civilization that we are building again. We have a financial gift from St. Thomas, $3. Thank you so very much. And writes here with those $3, may the blessings of our Lord be upon Carlisle Cockatoo. May she bear many white children to the man she loves. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much for that. It's very kind. Well, folks, let me check Odyssey. And it looks like Odyssey is blank. No financial gifts missed over there. I will refresh here. And good, we didn't miss anybody there. Take a quick look at the live chat, and then we're going to roll out. Please remember our action items today, and you can head on over to that other content creators live stream Ambriel is with us and says, no white guilt. I'm so repulsed at the fact she used the term gringo. Yeah, it's despicable. It is absolutely despicable. Could you imagine any non-white race, any non-white leader saying to a group of white people or another non-white race, you all are good. I am just a, and then fill in the blank with the racial epithet that represents the group. She should absolutely lose. If I could do more to help her lose, I would. She is garbage. Thank you very much for that, Ambriel. And Ambriel is another one of our champions who is not white. Victorian time traveler, I heard Mark Collett say that he hopes Meloni comes well. Oh, God. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? That's funny, though. Comes well? Maybe the great Natarific is here. Maybe he misspoke. Nathan Lentini is with us. I have full faith in your ability to haunt people. I share every one of your tweets, brother. Yeah, you better believe it. If there's anybody that can come back from the grave, it's me. Thank you all for celebrating when people do things worthy of celebration. That is worthy of celebration. And, you know, there's one of us here, at least one, and maybe some others have done it. But the Great Slots has celebrated the people who celebrate others. Leave it to the resident philosopher to think in that many layers. Matt says, if you play golf, write no white guilt on your Pro V1 golf balls. That's a great idea. But just add .org, nowhiteguilt.org. So then they can come and they can find out a lot more about what will empower them and our people. That's a great suggestion. All right, and we have 07s, please. We got one more to celebrate. One more to celebrate. 07, some Ragas emojis for you know him, folks. One of our Dragon Lords, Fornal, has financially gifted $20 US. God bless you, brother. $20 from this champion. And he says, for lighting it up tonight. I told him I was going to light it up tonight. And then he's such a great guy. He's like, let's go get as many people to show up for this as we can. This is how we got to be. This is how we got to support each other. God bless you, Fernell. I really thank you for that. Well, folks, as you know, all good things, even this, have to come to an end. It's the contract we have to make for anything to be started. And so today's show is going to come to an end. But I want you to think about the metaphor of Death Valley and walking through these tributaries, and about Western kind as ash, and how we are tasked with shuffling through that ash. And what happens when you shuffle through the ash? You get dirty. You get filthy, as a matter of fact. We have to shuffle through the ash. Our hands have to get dirty because we have to look for any of the embers that are left. That'll be the only way to save Western kind, Western civilization. As always, for you, it might not be bedtime. It's not for me. I'm going to keep working for white well-being. But it is a lot later than many folks think. Good night, America.